For all the talk I make about being really into older style first-person shooters, I actually haven't played too many of them back in the day. I've played Wolfenstein 3D, it was one of my first memories about life in general, and the OG Doom, but a lot of my love for the genre comes from them and the Bungie-helmed Halo games. So that makes this next video a bit weird. Shadow Warrior 3 is the current entry in the now 3 games deep series of a reboot of a classic build engine shooter that I never played. But looking at the subject matter, I think I'm glad to have left the past in the past. Man, what is with build engine games not called blood and aging like milk left in the sun? Anyways, I'm Mahmoud Aden, and I'm here to tell you what's good about Shadow Warrior 3. The story goes as this. You play as Lo Wang, a former corporate assassin turned supernatural problem solver and wannabe superhero. He tries to stop a demon-spouting dragon from destroying the world, and fails. He's approached by his former boss, Orochi Zilla, who has a plan to keep the dragon from destroying the other half of the world, with the use of an enchanted mask which contains the soul of Wang's immortal buddy, Hoji. The story itself is ridiculous nonsense, and I am 100% okay with it. It's a lot of middle school level humor, and while it seems annoying at first, I really just got used to it. Because every now and then, Lo Wang will just say something that's actually pretty funny. And this brings us to Lo Wang as a character because he kind of holds it all together. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Mojo, Lo Wang is the protagonist, he's supposed to do that. To which I go, yeah, no shit. But when the game started, Lo Wang felt like this annoying, cocky asshole that had me going, I wish there was a mute button for dialogue too, a character that I actually came to like. Because after going through the first mission and seeing him in the opening, you can see that Wang failing to stop the dragon clearly had an effect on him and he really wants to make up for it. After that, he settles into a groove of your standard FPS protagonist, if not a bit more referential pop culture and comic books. His being naturally distrustful of his former boss and kind of nemesis, and being bros with Hoji are kind of the best examples of how multifaceted he can be. It's interesting stuff. As much as I would like to keep talking about Lo Wang as a character, I need to talk about this as a video game you play or else we'll all die of old age. It's a first-person shooter developed by Flying Wild Hog, developers of the first 2 games in this rebooted Shadow Warrior trilogy, Hard Reset, a cyberpunk-themed FPS that I highly recommend, Drug to Yomi, which is a game I also recommend, and most recently, Evil West, a game I've been meaning to get my hands on because I've heard a lot of good things about. Maybe later. So when it comes to FPS games, this team knows what they're doing, but it's also a first-person shooter of the arena variety that's dropped in a post-Doom Eternal world. So that means lots of movement, lots of resource management, and lots of gory executions. But it manages to do all of these in some incredibly interesting ways. For starters, while you may only have a limited amount of ammo for 6 of Lo Wang's 7 weapons, you can get more ammo back by killing stuff with his katana. It's also a fully fleshed out weapon on its own, and it's fucking awesome! I've gone through entire combat arenas using just a katana and it felt so goddamn satisfying! But it's not the only weapon here. You got a pretty good 6-shooter, a bitchin' shotgun, a surprisingly potent pair of SMGs called the Sidekicks, a grenade launcher, a railgun called the Basilisk that serves as the sniper rifle type weapon, and a crossbow that shoots shurikens. All of these serve specific roles on the battlefield, which is good because the enemy lineup here is wild. You fight off a veritable menage's worth of demons in Shadow Warrior 3, from minor stuff like running zombies to big bruisers like the Oni Hanma, to the confusing as heck Slinky Jaku, and my personal favorite, the Hattori, demonic sword masters that need to have their guards broken before being damaged like a certain summonite the Marauders. They're basically the Marauders from Doom Eternal, but not as interesting to fight. Oh, and before I forget, do you remember those gory executions that I mentioned earlier? Aside from giving you more health on kills like the Doomslayer's Glory kills, that's what regular weapon kills and health pickups are for, you get special weapons and effects from each enemy. Different tonics that affect your health and shielding, freezing grenades, laser grenades, a big fuck-off bone hammer, one of the Hattori's blades, a vortex grenade, a goddamn drill, seeking shurikens, swarming rocket launchers, and a motherfucking double minigun are the options you have available to you. But they require stocks in the finisher gauge in order to actually acquire them. And because they were straight up ripped out of your enemies, you only get to use them for a short amount of time. Boo! But to compensate, they are ridiculously powerful. Yay! All of these come together to create a combat experience that can only charitably described as complete pandemonium in the best way. Juggling all of these weapons and abilities like a force push, and making sure that you don't die makes for a thrilling experience. Also, there's a grappling hook. I forgot to mention it earlier because all of the arenas following its introduction are designed with it in mind, and it's used in platforming bits as well. The platforming itself is pretty linear, and it serves as a point A to point B to fair to combat. Not that I mind though, it does its job. It's fine. Kind of a schlep though. Overall, I liked Shadow Warrior 3. It was different and chaotic enough from the stuff I usually play that I managed to get through it in about 3 or 4 sittings. It's pretty dang short. While I wish the writing was a bit better and the platforming was a bit more involved, it's ultimately like Lo Wang himself. A bit rough around the edges, but just goofy enough that you end up liking it anyways.
And that would be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like it if you did. Don't forget to also share it if you really liked it. And also don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.